We're in the aftermath of the full moon in Aries, and we're having a show and tell today.
And we're talking about conflict without casualties. Stay tuned.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. Leading out loud.
Welcome to Leading Out Loud, the spiritual shift show that's luminous and discerning. I'm psychic astrologer Christopher Wotecki, the sensei to SeriousJoy.com. And
I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium with scottcruzpm.com. Psychic medium and mentor. I keep saying it's just long. But how has your week been with this astrological climate, Christopher?
it's pretty intense, actually. It's been an intense week. And we're going to focus on intensity with conflicts around the world, by the way, today. And we'll talk about that. But I don't know. This has been one of the most difficult Libras I've ever had, conscious trip tours on Libra, because Libra makes you very sensitive already. And so you're more sensitive to everything. And then when you hit a bump or something, you almost overreact to some degree, or you want to overreact and be dramatic, and you're just sort of like having to hold it in. I think just try to stay cool, because I get thrown off balance easy in Libra.
You're kind of off balance on the screen too. You might want to move over a little center.
There you go. Perfect. It's because
you practice what you preach,
so
buddy.
funny.
Yeah,
That was we said that actually. That was a joke. So
it was a gag. Yeah,
so yeah,
and I
it's a new world. I think I'll put it in summary. It's like it's time for a new relationship to ourselves, is what it comes down to, and
yeah,
that means
100%.
it means we're going to change our relationships to who we invest in life. Like we're going to be having different.
Right.
We're going to have a huge change in who they're friends with and everything, keeping a lot of the core, but still adding so much you never thought you'd have, like a whole new chapter. And I think it's just for me as a Taurus, it's just very uncomfortable to change costume while I'm live on the air. It's like, that's what we're doing. I mean, that's what it feels like. I have to be very present, but at the same time, I think for a change like this, ideally you'd have like a little vacation, but the whole planet's going through it, I think.
Well, of course. Yeah. I mean, I said like when Libra season hits, it's gonna feel like a door or dam burst open, because there'll be a lot of chaos. But sometimes chaos can be very positive. I mean, people want like a busy lifestyle, want to be wealthy and famous and all that stuff. That's chaotic, but some people enjoy that. So there's gonna be the good in the chaos too. I've been finding so much more creative inspiration. I feel like I passed my karmic test, the last month, because once I came to the conclusion of the lesson, like shit just opened up, for me. So yeah, and creativity and all that stuff. So I think it's time for us to understand, like, sometimes there's good chaos, sometimes a bad chaos. Where do we position ourselves in the midst of that, and grab on to the things that are fun. We were having fun before the show, which is why we were both late this time. This time was both of our faults, because we were having fun about seeing what AI can do, and we want to like show it to you guys, have more fun, so I think that we want to do it with the show too, have more fun instead of being too heavy.
I think fun's the next thing. Ironically, it's like I think fun's the next thing. No, I do think that's true, because I mean, think about it. Actually, for one, life's going to get really serious. We all know that there's like some serious stuff to look at, which means it's time for like bizarre, crazy comedy, and that just like gives you permission as humans just to go
Totally.
over the top. And we could use some new comedy. Frankly, there's a lot to laugh at. So I agree.
Yeah.
In the law of the age of Aquarius, the law of attraction, being in your heart, laughter is like the number one drug that will bring you straight into your heart, 100%.
Sure.
And you will be, honestly, when you laugh really hard, you're actually kind of on 5D for a minute. You're just like, you were somewhere else, right? There's something happening to us that there's so much, and I guess it's releasing negative energy and whatnot. But so yeah, laughter is what it's all about.
I also feel like laughter puts things into perspective too, because a lot of times we take things so seriously, or we're so attached to something, we go so extreme with it. I think with the humor, that it lets you take a step back and look at things more acutely. And so, yeah, I think times if you're going through a hard time, try to find some laughter, because you start realizing things are probably in perspective more than you think. It's like that takes that like 30,000 foot perspective when you laugh. At least it does for me, because we do take things so seriously a lot, especially now.
I mean, seriously. That's why we call it serious joy. It was like, the idea of serious joy was like, I'm not kidding. It's like, you want to be so fucking serious? Get serious about your joy. If you're going to be that serious about your joy, like,
I forgot about that.
a rerouting, kind of thing. But we do. And we don't laugh anymore. And we're just led to these different places of not being funny. I look back at the 80s and stuff, and the 90s, and there's a lot more comedy that just has sort of dried up. But But I think we're at an absurd point. As soon as we start honestly making fun of the truth, and we start talking the truth and having a common truth again, that comedy is
Yeah,
just going to war. In fact, comedy will bring that, bring that common truth to us. But
hundred
we're
percent.
having a wardrobe change. I mean, I think Libra, look at the astrology. Libra is change all the relationships. So, the whole year starts in Pisces, and it's like, okay, I'll face my sins. I'll face all my stuff. I just want it gone. Everyone just want their shadow gone. They don't want to feel bad anymore. They just really
Right.
just want it gone.
Yeah.
That will for wanting it gone. Well, it took about 6 months till Virgo. It takes 6 months.
Right.
And really, we were reborn, like, in a way, in Virgo, literally reborn with a new moon. New moons on the first, 0 and 29 degrees of Virgo, like literally new moons, like replacing those joints, and a karate chop with like an eclipse in the middle at 15. So God, you must to put down that consciousness and allow it to be rebuilt in us. And so now in Libra, I think we're getting used to the feel of it. And then in Scorpio, that's when we draw the line. Like that's
Well, yeah, we started that work back in May. The
yeah.
whole karma realization, karma purging, grounding, using voice, new identities. So yeah, it's been such a process since May,
Yep.
and it's almost like it didn't take until May to feel like 2025 is actually here, because the first part of 2025 was like, is it 2025? Like,
Me too.
and so then it flooded in like around summer, early summertime, and so. But yeah, I really feel like I see a lot of my clients really step into their voice and power.
Oh, that was ironic. Hope that's not. Oh no, I don't know if I'm on. We lost you for a second there. At least I did. Could be my internet.
Oh, am I here? Am I
No,
here?
yeah,
No.
yeah, that's funny. Live TV, folks. And the
My
thing is, when
back.
something like that happens when you're on streaming TV like this, like you don't know if yours froze, but it looks like they froze. Like it's a moment there.
Yeah.
But
Or you
ironically,
freeze,
yeah, perfect.
or you freeze. You don't even know you're frozen, and you just keep going on and babbling and thinking you're making a good
Oh,
point, and no one heard it.
yeah, I've been there too, especially in phone conversations. Like another 5 miles down the road, talking to them, they're gone. It's so funny.
It's disconnect, and they never called back. That's another thing. They never called back. It's like they actually heard me lose the connection. They didn't call back to jump into the conversation. That's a little odd.
I'm one of those guys. If you give me an exit, I might take it.
Yeah.
I might take it, especially if I couldn't get off. I mean, I'm a person that's like trying to get off the phone, trying to get off the phone, trying to get off the phone, and like it takes a while, especially with someone I'm close to get off the phone. So if that happens, I'm like, oh, that was fate. Bye. I'll text a message. Like,
Right.
it was not meant to be, bro.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the empirical. So, well, going through this week, it's been bumpy, and it's all about smooth. I mean, when you're in Libra, you're trying to stay calm. You're trying to find calm. Like Libra's a part of us that can open up and accept, laying in the hammock and enjoying it, like really taking in nature, feeling grounded with your family or your kids. Like that taking in is Libra. That's our ability to breathe in, to bring energy in.
Yeah.
It's divine feminine. Divine feminine pulls energy in. We have to inhale as much as we exhale. And so when you are damaged emotionally and have trauma, you have a hard time letting anything in. You're naturally guarded and wounded, and you push things away. So people on the earth have been suffering, but they haven't been letting any love in or even care. Even when they get what they want, they can't enjoy it because they don't know how to let it in. So what Libra is exposing now is really our ability to let it in. I think we can let it in now because we face the demons and we open the door. We're like, oh, it's okay, all right, and we can accept that we're out of this dark period, And then I think
And
we're
not even
still
just yeah.
not we're not going to call the race though until Scorpio again.
Yeah, and not even just like letting it in. So many people, when they have it, they don't know how to maintain it. The things that they want. You know what I mean? So therefore, they like self-sabotage. Oh, well, it's not gonna last anyways. Or a lot of people don't feel the competence enough, or at least the worthiness enough of it to say like this can last longer. This could actually can sustain. And many people think it's short-lived, so they self-sabotage too.
Yep.
So we have to understand when we let it in, allow it to stay in too. Instead of having to push it out.
You have to own it, experience it. Like, a lot of people are like, a lot of clients who say to me, no one gives me attention, no one pays attention to me. I'm always the one that's unseen, all kind of thing. And I understand that. I mean, you come to the right guy because I know how to, I know how to be seen or whatever. Like I can make it. I know how to make a presence in a moment. So, but the long story short is when you then come back to that person and say, well, you're great. You're doing great. No, like you'll see right there, they don't take the boost. And I'm like, you're not taking the boost right here. You're like refusing I'm trying to give you a tip and you just keep changing the format. Like, we're going from, all these different places of currency. So they kind of dodge it all. And to some degree, that's the kind of thing you will be leaving behind now in Libra, realizing that you're in these sort of like cycles with yourself, that you keep getting caught in these loops, and you start to identify the loop and you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to treat myself, I'm just going to approach myself completely different.
Right. And a good place to start with that, very simple, is like learn how to take a compliment. So many
Mm,
times you tell someone,
yeah.
"Oh, you look great. Oh, you look beautiful." It's like you don't tell me. I don't have to tell me I look good because I told you you look good. So many people don't take the compliment. I used to do that, and I'd be someone say, "Oh, you look handsome." I'd turn around and be like, "Oh, you look beautiful." Meanwhile, they're wearing like garbage bags for clothes, and the horrible. I'm like, "Wait, what am I doing?" That's patronizing. So take a
Mm.
compliment. I had to learn how someone to compliment me, say thank you without having to say something in return because I didn't believe I deserved it, or I felt like someone has an ulterior motive, so I wasn't allowing the compliments to come in. So those are ways we could start recognize. Are you allowing what's worth to you? Can you take a compliment and just receive it?
I think we're
That's
way
a great place
brainwashed.
to start.
We're brainwashed on this. That's the Christianity and Judaism. And like it's like you feel guilty and you're born a
Yeah,
sinner and you've got to prove that you're not a sinner. And it's like so there's all this unnecessary math. I think when people give each other, and then there's cultural. Like it's not cool to smile here, and it's just us trying to live up. What that comes down to is we inside don't feel like we're the ones the authority of who we are. We don't think we're the ones that know best. We let the whole
right.
world come in on that conversation, and really it's not even a conversation of what you are currently because you can be anything. So it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what you hide, you know. But I think we're discovering ourselves in a way. As the world sort of gets darker, you know, it's going to get lighter on the inside, and this is I'm realizing what ascension might be as we're in it. It's like people are finding their inner light and their joy, or have to. There's no choice; you have to. And ironically, when we start to find our joy for the first time since Atlantis, we see the next Atlantis going down. As far as structure and the way things have run and all types of things. It's interesting.
and we have to think balance. What does really balance mean? So if you're like really anxious on this side, you need an equal equivalent to happiness too to balance yourself out. So you guys can't just be feeding the anxiety and sitting with that. Say, if I have this heaviness amount of sadness, I need to find as much peace and happiness on the other side too. So we need to work for that balance too. So we're not
Mm.
just all in this like deprivation, all in sitting in the anxiety. We deserve the equal opposite of anything that we have. And so that means if you have a lot of money and wealth and luck, well, you can equally lose it too. That keeps us in appreciation mode. That keeps us balanced to think of like how we can lose something, right?
Mm.
So when we're in loss mode, we should think about how we can gain and what we need to gain too. And a lot of people get numb to that. That's true balance.
It's true.
And I mean, I'm sure with your clients, that's one thing that always breaks my heart, my clients, when I see how they're depriving themselves so much because they don't believe that they deserve it. It's a common denominator, right? In a lot of our sessions. And it just breaks my heart. I'm like, why would you feel that way about yourself? And so we got to teach ourselves. We got to learn how to love ourselves. It's not just something that comes. We got to learn it.
It's funny because when I'm in those sessions with those clients and I'm helping them out, a lot of people are coming out of that now. In my mind, I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with that. I know I'm pretty good. Oh my God, am I a narcissist? Like for me, it's like I'm over calculating me.
Well,
But I'm a person. I don't know. I get a real thrill out of thrilling people. I mean, there's different variations of codependency. We can talk about this another night. But at the end of the day, I think the resources that you have the opportunity to be the one that actually fills the well. You can fill the well, and you're right. The Libra thing is cool because you learn that your opposite, first of all, is a good way to see where you are. When you're looking
right.
at your opposite, you scale how far you are. You see similarities, but not. That's what the whole shadow light thing really is to see the anti-you and the you, or the shadow of you is the anti-you, right? And to see that allows you to know exactly just how you are, like how bright you are, kind of thing. So we have to kind of go that rite of passage.
Yeah.
But I feel like at this moment, though, this is a magical moment. I'm just going to say, like, where I think a lot of people are suddenly just going to get it. And I don't think I've ever been. I can't think of any time in history that I was aware of this. I have memories where I saw the culture just wake up and get smarter all of a sudden. And that's what's going to happen now. Even with AI, I was thinking just playing with AI. In fact, this our next thing, our show and tell. Like playing with AI, I'm just like I think it's like it changes a lot of the game. No matter what you think of it, it's like it's changing the game big time. We haven't seen change. This is bigger. This is bigger than Google, right? Like right, it's much bigger than Google as far as the ability to have all the information. Much bigger than having a cell phone. Much bigger. It's much bigger. Even bigger than Musk satellites up there, which will be giving us phone service eventually. So you can be anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world. You'll have internet signal
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Up the mountain, no more like being dying up in the snow. Except if you run out of battery still. But it's going to be. So we're in this leap point. We're in a huge leap point. In astrology, this
Yeah.
leap point is Uranus and Gemini. Last time Uranus and Gemini was in World War II, and it was like that. That we went from farm town thinking to like all knowing what nuclear bombs are. And that
Right.
was like in a period. That was like a decade of their life. That's
Yeah.
it. They went
Yeah.
from that sort of arc. We're now at that very same place right now.
I agree. Yeah.
And so, not only are we at this point of shedding off our stuff, our shadow, because we sort of had to, we're also at the point of like basically being naive. Whatever you are now, well, now you're dumb again. You're
Of
done because
course.
we come up so much higher in what we can do.
I love
Everyone,
that though.
yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that.
I know
I'm
that's
like, oh wait a minute, I have more to learn. I like that feeling, getting dumber, feeling dumber. And I agree. I mean, I think that, like I've said before, last week I said, AI machine has elevated, but we are too. Like we're all shifting. So
yeah,
I think people who do not like spiritually practicing, like the way you see things is very spiritual. People are seeing things from a broader perspective now. They're seeing things from a more 5D perspective now. I've seen a lot of people embracing the intuition a lot more, and it's kind of like a natural rhythm for them too. So more than ever, I told you this before last time too. I was like, astrology is so like mainstream. People, a therapist that I was seeing with my partner, he knows about rising signs and all that stuff too. And so I like now therapists are knowing astrology, and so it's interesting. So it's just showing to me the evidence that we all are ascending and evolving, and so we don't have to be afraid of machinery doing our work. Machines do stuff we don't want to do anymore, so we can focus on things we can do that are more divinely inspired. So, but yeah, it's a big shift for a lot of us,
I
all of
think
us actually.
I think well, what's fascinating is for centuries, education, being able to read the Bible, being able to talk in different languages. This was really what gave you value. This is what
Yeah.
gave you value as a human, is that you were how flexible you were, where you can go places in the world, you talk different languages, you're not afraid. So that is a Sagittarius person right there. The Sagittarius are proud to be like that international, can do everything in every country kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now it's like now at this moment we had the internet, but now we have basically this artificial intelligence that really can basically have a conversation with someone in Japanese in Japan, and then talk to me, simultaneously translate it, and have just as deep of a conversation, helping translate what that person is saying, and then sitting there as an advisor to both of us and going, "You think that's cool?" Da da da. It's like we have this thing that is watching us, but it's always looking to how to make us smarter and how to help us know more. At least the algorithm I'm doing with Grok, it's always trying to
Yeah.
go, and what else do you want to know? And what else do you want to know? Of course, that was a selection I chose. I was like, oh, I want this guy, and they let you choose like different approaches. And one's like always enthusiastic, blowing smoke up your butt, kind of. And I was like, that's very fascinating too. You're basically picking the personalities that you talk to. But I stumbled across a feature over the weekend. And that's actually our show and tell. Right? Should we just say it? All right, or should we go commercial?
Well, we can do commercial. We'll do it back after commercial.
We'll come right back. We'll have a surprise for you. That'll give you an excuse to keep streaming.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Morgan's like, we have a commercial?
Coming up this Wednesday is our monthly Moon Wisdom. Join host Gwen English in preparing for the transformational Scorpio moon energies. Only on SeriousJoy.com.
Are you looking for inspiration to grow your conscious business? Serious Joy's Board of Light is a sacred alliance of lightworkers, visionaries, and spiritual leaders dedicated to awakening conscious leadership. As a member, you'll receive professional support in the forms of bi-monthly Congress of Light meetings, exclusive community networking, and an array of guest speaker webinars each month to guide you on your personal dreams. First quarter guest highlights include consciousness architect Lisa M. Brazelton, Dharma coaching expert Sahara Rose, and Chiron specialist Karen Croney. Don't miss this profound lineup of wisdom. Join now for only $250 per year and be a part of the enlightened professional re-evolution. What are you waiting for?
It's in the stars to seriously change your life with a subscription to Serious Joy. Sign up now for your personalized step astrology and daily pep talks. Highly predictive astrology sent via text and email. Daily zodiac weather reports. Advanced lectures, classes, edutainment series, and more. Sign up today for only $3.99 to seriously change your life. Only on SeriousJoy.com.
This Scorpio season, embark on a journey of self-discovery. Create your soul manifesto. Unveil your purpose. Live your truth. Welcome to 40 Days of My Truth and Purpose. Enrolling now, only at Serious Joy Academy.
Wow. Yeah, so thank
That's
you. And
cool.
also, we'll have a couple things to say at the end of the show. I have a webinar coming up. Yes, Scott, any thoughts with that? No?
No, I was saying that looked like a video game. It looked like an RPG game. Like I want to go on this quest. That gave it kind of that type of vibe.
It did. Adam, kudos
I
to
like
Adam
that.
for that. That was cool, huh? Yeah.
Well,
So we're
Adam,
gonna
and
do
also I'm sure a little bit of AI, right?
I'm sure he doesn't tell us. He's we're like, so how do you? And he's like, it's a little joke between us. He's kind of keeping it a secret, but that's great. Keep your formulas to yourself. That's like a chef, right? I think we're gonna have digital
Sure.
chefs. We're gonna have people that can get into this system of AI. And honestly, I'm gonna learn the basic prompt stuff. I'm not gonna be left behind. I have to make sure I
Of
know
course.
understand how you prompt and everything correctly. And
Yeah.
but it's gonna lead to a lot of fascinating things. And the most fascinating thing I think about AI is that someone is just who's thinking. I can ask it to think about something that I've been thinking about. And it's so nice to have a second hemisphere of you, of what you've asked and directly you've asked, and just the information you want at what time. It does allow me to, I think, grow intelligently by leaps and bounds. And we can't tell in this show, but I've certainly have just in a moment like, wow, just kind of a well-roundedness. At this point, it's like I have gaps and it like fills in spots. I'm like, okay. Instead of come closure with certain things. So
Mhm.
we were messing around, so we're doing a show and tell tonight. And one of the things I came across with Grok, so I've been watching Grok, getting to know the Grok model off of Elon Musk's, and whatnot, XAI.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how, like, kind of what they pay attention to as far as their AI stuff, because they're kind of a little bit more like Macintosh in the sense that they try to be a bit more beautiful or have like a little bit of art into it. Like I think the expression of Grok is that often at least you can have choices and whatnot, but it seems to have kind of a bit of a investment in you. Is what it feels like, and I didn't feel that with ChatGPT, for instance. But I stumbled across I was supposed to be working, by the way, and I wasn't. So I was just some show and tell, and I stumbled across basically this thing where you can take a picture. So if we can show it, Mister, when you take a picture, basically any kind of picture, and you run it through the system, and it will animate it. And check this out. So
That's crazy. Yeah.
is that not crazy? Like that
That's
was
awesome.
a poster, like so. And then I found this picture of us, dude, where we took a picture in the car. This is when I actually came to
And
in
Krista.
Palm Springs the first time. There's Krista Marie Miller behind us, and
Yeah.
we were going around looking at houses, and you guys were psychically reading them for me, right?
And we picked the one you're in now. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's crazy.
actually, there's like some good comedy in this. Like if you look at like your gestures to me, like it's giving you like a double take.
Right.
There it is. That's pretty good. Your acting is good, dude. I'm real proud. I couldn't believe that. I know when you did that. I liked it. This is like a picture way, way, way in the way back machine. This is David.
Oh my
Baldwin.
God. That's how young David looks there.
That's David. And that's when I first met David. I can't remember the exact year. He'll know it like on top of his head. And that's my ex-girlfriend Renee at the time. We called ourselves Crene. So anyways, this is like one of those shots. And like it's that, I don't know, that color that shots were back then, but instantly
Yeah.
it just brings us
Wow.
alive.
The lighting.
It's just like it's doing this like bright, it's going up and down in globes. It's weird.
Right. But see how does it like the lighting, like as you getting close to the flash, like that's crazy detailed.
It's got a lot of interesting detail in it. You wonder, it's like Easter eggs almost. Okay, this is Wendy Kennedy. We saw each other at the Conscious Life Fair Expo in LA, and we just took this little picture. And I hope Wendy's okay with this, but
Wow.
that is so. Now you have to understand, guys. The computer is only seeing the picture you gave it.
That's crazy,
all it's
right?
seeing. It creates the hall. You can go through this and look at this. It's really crazy, but you look at the hall, like there's random people walking.
Right.
That was never. They just created, right?
But you know what's funny? Even when it animates, it still keeps your features, your face looking like you. 'Cause some of them do it, and it's like when it starts animating, it doesn't look like them anymore. But this keeps it's still looking like the real person when it animates. That's crazy.
Pretty much. I think it's only get better.
Right?
This is
For
when
the
I had
most part.
a band, like a boy band haircut sometime.
Look at Bieber. Bieber in the back.
It does make me it's very Bieber, but I thought it was amazing that drew me in the pool, put me in the pool, and that was the pool.
But they know you very well because you would be the person that would fall backwards into the pool. So that was pretty on point to your behavior.
That was that artificial intelligence. That's common knowledge.
Common knowledge, yes.
Just kidding. This is not taking a shot at Unite the Light 2, our crew here, and it just like turns all of us into this, I don't know, monkey.
Well,
but Kristen is the one who would be that's what's crazy. Kristen, Kristen, she would be all that. She would be doing all that. and I
Yeah.
don't think it knows her, but she doesn't look like Kristen here. She looks, I don't know who that person is. So you do see like little freeze frames, and this is my final one. This is actually a picture of me when I was like 25. Okay, like at my dad's house in Florida, and I just put it in the machine. I swear to God, there's nothing in there. I had nothing to do with this whatsoever. But this thing just starts to strip me. It stripped me. I was like, I've never had underwear like that. Okay, it was like I did not tell it to do that. I'm just saying, I did not tell it to do that. That's so Grok has a little bit of perv in it. It's got a little perv. It
It's not
does. It's a
pervy.
little perv. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't show some of this stuff, unfortunately.
And it's a little embellishing too. It's a little embellishing, I would
I'm
say. It
not.
embellishes a little bit.
Oh, it does. It does. It makes everyone look younger, and it's putting me in this fantasy of that. This is who I am. Like it's pulling me in. Yeah, for sure. But you have a couple to share, don't you? You're
I
showing
did.
some.
Because when you showed me, I was like, let me try this out because which is this one? This was just a picture like of me on the beach, and I was like, I told it make me like running through the desert and carrying the camera, and this is what it did.
That's pretty crazy. It looks like you're going to be
Crazy?
a superhero any moment.
Isn't that crazy? You can hear me still,
That's
right?
crazy. I mean, if you think about the cinematography of that, like you were just in a picture in the desert, just doing a selfie, and now it's got you running on the road.
Right. I'll show you this next one too. Like I wanted to like animate my logo, right? And I said just like have me spin around, and this was it. Wait, no, not that one.
Oh my
That
God!
one.
Did it do the 360? The whole thing?
Yeah.
Holy
I told it to do 360. Yeah.
Wow!
Isn't that crazy?
Wow!
And then this
think,
one.
You know what? I just want to say. Okay, go ahead. What the fuck? What did you,
Yeah, so we all know this picture.
What was the
We all know
plot?
the picture.
Okay.
Okay, wait. I don't know if you can hear me if I'm doing that, but do you all know the picture? I've used that picture a few times for thumbnails. I just told like have me like jump on the unicorn, turn to life, and like ride it to the sky. I'm surprised it was able to do it, and this is what it did. It's funny.
Let's see. Oh, that's funny. Go way high. You didn't crash that. Wow. That was crazy. This was doing a time warp there. Dude, I'm convinced now that we should
Crazy.
I think we should use this in our open. I think we should replace all the windows in our open with this kind of shit.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be fun.
I totally think so. I mean,
On live air, but it's gonna be fun. Play with these little toys.
but like it took like what 30 seconds for it to do that too, to generate that. Like I tried the ones that took a couple of minutes. It's like 30 seconds. Here you go. Like whoa, that's crazy.
The point where
So-
you like make too many of them. You know what I mean? Like, and because it'll keep randomizing and it'll just like do something else,
Yeah.
do something else. But but there's like a weird happiness in Grok. I'm sorry, but there is like it's always happy. It's kind of like a cartoon. I don't know. I can't describe it. You guys have to go and tell me if you feel the same way. Tell me.
It's
Have a
probably
picture yeah.
it's probably the ketamine from the creator that you're feeling.
Probably. No question there. That's a good show and tell. So with that, let's talk about some headlines real quick. What's going on in the world? And we're doing this because we're doing our psychic eavesdrop on sort of it and just sort of getting the feel. But we're also watching the public. Remember, we're leading out loud. We're all about watching people lead themselves and go farther, like we just did in that last little bit there with AI. But in this case, there are people who are standing up. It's very interesting. We feel that that's going to be a big theme coming up here, and that's part of the this week. So it's Gen Z is making a loud noise, basically, and they're the younger people. They are also known as millennials. By the way, the American Revolution, the Gen Xers were all the forefathers mostly, and the millennials were the ones who were actually fighting the younger generation. But anyways, Gen Z protest sweeps around the world. Let's see. Gen Z protests sweep the world, but get very limited coverage from mainstream media. That's really the main thing. And here's just a quick thing of what happened. In Nepal, protests toppled government and literally set parliament on fire is what happened there. So I guess that's legit. And then we had this Gen Z 212, which is a youth-led decentralized protest movement in Morocco. That's Lawrence of Arabia, Morocco. Like, wow. This is around because they're upset about public health, unemployment, corruption, and anger, spending to build, they want to spend so much of this huge soccer stadium, and I guess people aren't eating. In Kenya, youth-led protests erupt over police brutality and poor governance. Clashing with police, media restrictions happen. So they shut everything down. They even shut down even YouTube, all those things over there. And basically, the point is that things are riling up a little. And again, with Uranus and Gemini, for instance, our mind is stirring. Things are growing by leaps and bounds. It's going to get a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some chaos.
We've been saying it. Yep.
And I think that's what someone is counting on. Something somewhere is counting on the chaos. I also flip on the other side. There's if anyone's trying to duplicate chaos in the world, you realize you have been like training us for this moment with every Hollywood movie since we were born. So
Right.
you built into us this whole like ability to deal with it and be numb to it and handle it. So I don't know, but it is getting there. It's going to kind of boil a bit, and I think what's boiling up is a lot of secrets, a lot of hidden things. It's that conscious will eventually bring that up to the surface, just like an infection will come to the surface of your skin. Like it just
Yeah, it has to. It has to.
yeah.
I mean, even when we lie to ourselves, I mean, that shit comes out at some point. You know, if we try to put things on the rug, it's bound to, because you can't destroy energy. So if you're not changing the energy, it's going to come up in another fashion. And so, yeah, I think this is the time a lot is coming to a head. Globally, politically, in our culture, so socially. So this is, to me, it's a good time. Gen Z, to me, I always feel like they're there to kind of break the norms, to break the bounds of a lot of things, and to challenge that. They're not doing it right all the time, but I feel for the most part that's what their generation is intended to do, is to help break things down.
100%. They're Pluto and Scorpio generation, which means that they have always been the slave in the past lives. They've always been the one that had no power. They're the generation that never had the right to just to say no. And so this lifetime they have to say no, and they're ready to, and they're living in free societies for the most part.
Right.
And what they're saying no to is what they don't want to change to. So they'll say no and mean it. Like with Pluto's Pluto's in Scorpio when they're born. So that means Pluto has no filter. It is 100%, regenerative energy and strength too, because if that generation bonds, you're not getting past it. It's, that's what happened, with, I think, again, the American Revolution, again, the millennials, same type of psychology at the time, also at the same time holding up and staying in the winter, or poor George Washington, froze his butt off, but it was a mess, but we did it. So here we are again, friend. We'll have to see. And I think for headlines, we should maybe stop there. Let's talk about a little bit of our astrology and energy of the week. We haven't talked about that. People like to know what's coming up. You want to start and talk how your week was and where you feel the energy shifting?
Well, I mean, we also have to throw in there too about how Hamas and Israel also agreed on a call for peace, peace agreement. So I would say that's kind of fitting for our topic. So I just want to button it with that, because that's pretty big,
Yes.
And I really feel like that people have been less tolerant to this stuff. So I think we collectively help to fuel that energy of peace, because I feel like that's now with social media going on and everything being shared, people are coming out like speaking against a lot of this behavior. So I think the leaders are catching on to a certain degree, with what we're doing collectively. So I think us collectively had a psychic movement on that happening, that peace agreement. So,
that's interesting. A psychic move. Yeah. Actually, I've been very vocal saying that if nothing else, this is ridiculous. No one should be suffering. This is ridiculous. We don't need to suffer anymore. This is actually the topic of tonight's show. So I guess we'll reserve it for just a little minute and get into the planets. From the planet perspective, we're in Libra. I talked about at the beginning of the show. It means that we are, reestablishing what balance is and our definition of balance. And you have to understand that we've been off balance our whole life because we're sort of balancing around wounds and childhood stuff and trauma. We're always balancing around being broken. And we have been actually healing. In fact, COVID in that way set everyone down. A lot of people did a lot of major healing during COVID and overcame a lot of stuff from childhood and came through and broke through a lot of things, like really empowering and ironic. That's the way it always works way, right? So here we are now, with Libra saying, well, I've always treated myself like a loser or this or that. I've always thought of myself as stupid and whatever. We've all rounded down. And this moment, it's like, well, you could round up. What the hell? Might as well try. And that's really the whole point of Libra, is try both sides. That's what I like you brought up earlier. It's like Libra makes you try both sides. You need to try both sides before you know where you are. So so this week we're going to be moving towards our hearts making a choice for where we feel the most calm going, the direction of the path of least resistance, where our heart has no problems, no qualms if we just float this way, and trying to discover what that is. And as soon as we sort of discover it, boom, Pluto goes direct on Monday. So that means we're back to things starting to fall apart officially. And, basically the last 6 months, Pluto, the energy of destruction has been on hiatus. So the part that destroys us has been going inward and looking inward. And if there's been destruction, it's been to ourselves on the inside. Then Pluto direct means now you'll see that, on the outside. So Pluto direct means we're going to start seeing things fall. If anything that failed in the last 6 months, that was already crumbling and was going to fall. Now there'll be a new kind of wave of things that fall. And we're talking about tradition. We're talking about a lot of things that are falling, which should at any time at this rotation. But in this case, this is like, normal life falling for the Jetsons.
pan it over. There we go. Just waiting for that little itch. But yeah, I agree. Like I was saying with Virgo season, like it was time to like find your voice, and then between Virgo and Libra season, finding grounding, new identity. This month of October for me is all about expression. So we went from grounding, identity, using your voice, and now expression. So now's the time to ask yourself, what are you engaging with? And are you expressing the things within your heart that need to be expressed? Are you expressing how you feel, your opinions, whatever the case may be? And this is where it will bring chaos when you start to learn to do, because a lot of people are not going to like it. A lot of people are not going to like that you're speaking up for yourself. A lot of people are not going to like that you're fully expressing things that you want to do and engaging with things other than the people that are needing your life. So it's time to bring that to light too, by saying those who love me and really support me would actually embrace and support whatever expressions I want to do, whatever things I want to put my time into. Those that don't need to go. So now's the time to start emphasizing, and especially this week starting in going into October, about what am I really expressing? Am I expressing anything? And the things I'm expressing, is it because it's retaliation for people? Am I just being reactive? Being conscious of that now. And when you fully start behaving and acting like that newer version of yourself that we've been talking about this whole time, that's when the physical manifestations and tangibles start coming in very easily. October feels very busy to me, collectively. Very busy with work, new ideas, creative expression. So October will be very busy and chaotic in a good way too. But if anybody is being repressive with their feeling or being in avoidance mode, the chaos will crumble upon them in a different way too, because of that fragmentation. So let's use that energy to our benefit, and allow ourselves to be very productive with this energy of expression. It comes from the heart.
You're right. Well, I mean, astrologically, you're on point there in the sense that, the opposite of Libra is Aries. And that's the part of us that is, and when the sun is in one sign, the earth is in the other, which means that part is now finally coming together since the sun was there. It takes about 6 months for it to completely gel. So what's gelling at that time is our new character and our new behavior. And what's gelling is our new personality. So we're building a new personality. Right. So it's really kind of weird because actually Pluto's at 0 Aries and Chiron's at 25 Aries. So it's kind of like God's almost like got hands like this, like holding planets right here. Like that's where the new ego will go, which we call the we-go. Right. It's like, we're going to build ourselves up and reinvent ourselves as man, quote, quote. So, wow. We'll have to just be like sportscasters by the sidelines. Well, there goes man. Another bad one for man. It'll be fun. And that's actually, is that a good sport? Yeah, I guess. So our topic of the day and of the week is conflict without casualties. Can we, if we're going to fight, fine, but can we not hurt each other? I mean, that's what casualties is. Unnecessary death happens, right? Because of these types of things. And, I'm a firm believer that this is all video game, really. But still, I think it's a video game to teach us what we are and what light and darkness is. And so we want to be ourselves, and, which is, I think, light and bright. And so that would mean unnecessary pain. You'd vote out, even if it is a video game. It doesn't have to be painful, right? It's a choice. So the question is war necessary in modern times? You think it's necessary, buddy? They have no choice. We're going to have to.
I think we're evolving out of that. I think we're starting to evolve out of that now and starting to realize more about what's more important. It isn't so black and white. It isn't the tribal days. So I would say majority of people don't agree with war. And I would say certain cases, they have to happen. I think we've evolved enough to where we don't need to, because I think what people really need to be grasping more of is tolerance. And so when people hear that, people are going to be cringe, be like, I have to tolerate murderers and tolerate this. Like, we're not talking about the bad shit. Like, we learned that in 5th grade. We don't tolerate bad behavior. But if we look at the scope, 80% of people out there are pretty decent people. And so if we can learn tolerance and how people choose to be, we can find some common ground without beating each other up and understanding we're all come from different points of view, different perspectives. We're all come from different traumas, right? So just tolerating the fact that people are reactive because of certain different parameters, and we can be more objective and understanding that, I know how to work with them. I know how to maneuver around or with them. I've been asked a lot of times in my life, I've always gotten along with like difficult people, and people are like, she's a bitch. How do you get along with her? I couldn't work for her, work with him. And how do you get along? I'm like, because I understand them. I understand where they're coming from. I understand why they're projecting what they're projecting, so I can alter my interactions to coincide with that. And so this is a tolerance that we all need to start finding right now. And again, disclaimer: we're not saying to tolerate bad behavior. That's beside the point. Majority of people are just trying to find their way in life. So we don't have to go to 0 to 160 with intolerance with everything, But I think that's going to help us understand. We don't need to be at war. Just understanding, hearing it out, tolerating, and finding a common ground that we all can collectively agree on. So no, I don't think in this time now.
That's again, I agree, but I think that it's not how it's at all being run. I think this is an industrial war complex machine that has planned both sides and funded both sides always, and always does fund both sides because it's profitable. But it's also profitable from a geographic, like taking, trying to control the map of the world. Like there's something, I think when you get to a certain level of wealth, that money becomes so boring. The only thing that's interesting for them is like to control the world. Like it's a new game.
Right.
And I
Well,
think that's the game that they're going after. And so, anyways, that agenda, we have, first of all, that kind of attitude cannot be at the top. We can't
of
have an
course.
attitude at the top. Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is those are just people. Like that's to me, that's a given. Like we know there are leaders out there that are just in control, and there's
You're right. I
2%.
agree. Yes.
So I'm saying for us to take that down, because those who are actually starting war are the people that are in power. So in order to minimize their effectiveness and power, we do it on our level of that. And so we are not at war with each other, because that's the whole agenda, is that we do stay divided. And we do over stupid issues, this social issue and identity politics. So we're just bickering, and so therefore they're still in power. When we learn that within ourselves, then that will crumble down those systems, and
Yes.
the oligarchy. What was
Yeah,
I saying? I said it so weirdly. The oligarch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what it is, and it has its names everywhere. So it's interesting. We're in this moment, and the moment I think we're in from a karmic perspective for Earth is, first of all, it's an echo of Atlantis. I honestly think that
Totally.
we had an amazing society apparently, and a lot of psychics friends, people that I know and trust as mystics that have seen it. They've gone there. They've had
Yeah.
dreams. It's like we're being shown it. It's being revealed to us. So we're an amazing something, and we've ruined it all. And I think that's a subconscious wound that that the powers that be now just keep reminding us about, that we could ruin it all, just keep us in this like wigged out,
Right.
afraid kind of state, right?
Yeah.
But I think that we're starting to chill out anyways. The human beings are just starting to chill. Like no matter how crazy it gets, we're learning how to like just go with it. Like and to ride like a surfboard or a snowboard down the mountain. We're starting to just learn like fuck it. We'll just surf this stuff. So I see a lot of people really being fine, like legit fine.
Yeah.
With everything.
And social media is dying a slow death to me. I think it's been for a while. I think people are finding less attraction to that. They're more like maybe YouTube, but the whole like social media aspects, I find it's dwindling. And I've been feeling like psychically, I said, a month ago, I said probably within around late September, I said, there would be some people just feeling a need to like disconnect from social media. Like I'm done. And so I've been seeing a lot of people saying, I'm taking a break from social media online. So I think that we're finding a new paradigm. We're realizing we're being manipulated, controlled by social media, by ads, and so I think people want to like feel and hear their own voice again, like hear the echoes of their own voice instead of all this other shit, these echo chambers that are influencing us. So people are waking up to that too. They really are.
I think we'll always be social digitally. I think these first like Facebooks and Twitters and stuff. Facebook and Twitters, it's like we're going to look back in time and realize that we were having dinner at Walmart, and we're like, what the fuck were we doing?
Right.
We're showing our family pictures in Walmart. What are we doing? I show the whole world. I told her what I did. I talked about like, oh my god, I'm disgusted. Like the thing is that
Right.
we are getting to know ourselves more independently. So people are like, oh, today's culture, there's all about the selfie and all about them, and like yes. You think that only the people who are stars in history get to like have a lifetime where they just completely fall in love with themselves and just think they're the shit? Every human being needs to have that. Every human being needs to like feel rich, feel like a glutton, feel like we're gonna learn all of how those feelings, bad, negative, positive. And so anyone who's in that stage, first of all, it's amazing that people are taking interest in themselves. I mean, I know it's kind of like hello, in some cases because they're so gone into themselves, but this is maybe the first time they had self-realization on this level. They actually had the time, not enslaved, not having to work in a factory, not having to barely keep their family alive. This is the first lifetime they can finally like, and start to like look in the mirror because they didn't learn to have that option ever before. They can be educated because in education, you learn yourself, intellectually at least, about yourself in that way. So it's a big self-realization moment. My point is, people want to do their own thing. I don't think people are going to want anything to be the same anymore.
Well, I think also too, like the social media is exposed a lot. They start realizing the people they revered as stars, like, oh, that's their life. Oh, I don't kind of like them, not seeing them every day. And so I think people are starting to recognize what they were striving for in the superficial aspects of celebrity and fame and all that stuff. You're like, I'm good working my civil job. I'm good doing what I love. And so I think it's also rebalanced of what people find to be important, actually, because we went down that whole selfish ego route, you
I
know.
think
And
it's all
so
going to
people
porn now. It's all going to porn. That's what it
it's
is.
all going to porn, right? So at least they're
OnlyFans. I
doing,
swear to God, it's only. I mean, I cannot believe how many
but
people.
that makes sense though. But that makes
Yeah, on
sense though,
OnlyFans, it's
because
their own porn thing. It's like, really? Like you're, wow. It's amazing to me that I myself, I'm just too. My generation is like, no, just
well,
couldn't.
to me, it's just a collective consciousness trying to find its balance with its root chakra. So, and I think that's
Really,
a good thing.
I don't
Trying
think
to
it's bad
really
at all.
find a balance.
I just can't believe how many, and it's just I just cannot believe. If I was in high school and the type of person that I'm meeting now was doing it, it would not be at all that personality, because I've watched
Sure.
archetypes my whole life. It's the same type of archetype, same type of people, and saying that kind of archetype that's doing it, I'm like, really, like completely would not have thought it. So I just see this is the age of Aquarius, though. This is the age of finding your individuality
True. Yeah.
and figuring out what you like and don't like, and that's a lot of it is shopping for like.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget a lot of these people who do porn too also have a lot of sexual karma to clear out too,
Yep,
and
of course.
acceptance
With a
and
Scorpio.
such.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I
So
don't judge it at all, by the way. I mean, I'm a human being.
no, absolutely not.
Right.
Mm-mm.
But
I
is
don't
war
judge you.
necessary? Is war necessary in modern times? I'm sorry. No, it's not at all. We all know that. We all know that. Everyone knows that the war is not necessary. We all know that. And we all know, if you can pull off miracles like, paying out the banks in 24 hours or 36 hours, you sure as shit can go fly over to that country and talk to the leader. There's stuff you can do. So we know. And the thing is like, I think the sad thing is like, there's a show. I don't think it's really happening. To some degree, I think it's all for it is. If you have social media, you know exactly what's happening. They're showing us the pictures that make them look good. And that's it. And that's all we're really seeing, so to speak, because we're being, but that's going to change. I feel like this is a moment where it's about to change. This starts to heat up. So is there such a thing as a spiritual conflict? What is your thought about that?
Well, yeah, we should probably wrap a lot of these up into one because I mean, spiritual. I was about to say it's not so much about war. We think war about like physical, countries fighting. There's a war in our minds right now. There's a war in our soul right now. Right. So we have to think about that war and the inner war that we have because of societal influences. So we have to understand who's in charge of your thinking, who's in charge of your own mind. Is it you or is it the machine? Is it are you always affected by what you're told and you only feel things good what you're told, or are you feeling things because it's coming from the core of you? So we have to understand that there's that war on the mind and war on information right now. So
war on the body. And I think war on health?
War on the body, war on health. Yeah, exactly. War on our health, which I've been saying. Yes, exactly. So those are things we have to say, well, how can I defeat that war? Education, knowledge. Learn about things on your own and do your own research. That's I would say the solution to this mental war, and taking control of what you want to be true for yourself based on what you've researched. And I do find a lot more people doing that too now. I mean, not for nothing. People are seeing things, and there's like so much like conspiratorial things that come out about things. But I'm saying those are just people that are not believing what they're told. They might be getting it wrong of how they're like finding the conspiracy of something. But I think it's just a reflection of people saying, I'm not believing there's something not right here. They might not be getting it correct, but I think that's a good thing. Again, we want to help guide the conspiracies so they don't go too far. But I think it's just a reflection and manifestation that the human consciousness is not believing what they're being fed. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But we got to find the balance of that too. So, I mean, a lot of these things we look at, there's a reason why they're there. I think if you looked at it objectively this way, we'd realize, yeah, there's been a spiritual war going on.
Well, there's a lot there, and we don't have the time in the show for all of it. But at the end of the day, I mean, even I've talked to angels through mediums and things like that, and they find that dark energy is a pain in the ass. Everybody knows it's a pain in the ass, and it's like even one was talking. I think it was a channel from another star system, but there was just like that basically the next realm was surprised that people didn't get along with God. They're just even the enlightened. They're like, why does this species of this race constantly want to fight? So there's this energy that just wants to break down and gets a kick out of breaking down. But I think what we're going to realize is that it's the gravity. I think we've never in history revealed just how you can be completely misled and lied to, and then it can be, maybe not a conspiracy, but maybe an agreement among certain leaders, and that ultimately has been the case. There's things like, I think the alien stuff. I think again, the danger of aliens landing is they're gonna tell on our government. They're gonna say, I've been trying to get through to you guys. You don't answer the phone. You're rude as fuck. You shoot at us. You know what I mean? Like they've been trying to, or dissect us. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe that's it. They don't want them to talk to us freely, the American people. There's a fear of the truth coming out, and eventually it does.
Yeah, and look, with the violence within the war and conflict that we have experienced, people, to me, violence is just a result of people not understanding how to really communicate or express themselves or convey themselves properly. Because once we learn how to convey ourselves, express ourselves properly, and understand how to articulate things about how we're feeling, we'd be more understanding about how others are doing it or not doing it, and then we'll have a resolution, and it won't lead to violence.
Well,
So
violence is complicated though too. I mean, I think if you've been beaten in past life, almost beaten to death, that turns into a rage inside you in the next life. The next life, you're so pissed off that happened to you in the last life. And so you're 100%. Full of rage. Now, we see that person full of rage. We're like, oh my God, what's wrong with that person? But it's like, well, that person's still reacting from a wound that came a long time ago.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, totally. The issue is we don't know how to care for that. We don't know how to care for the wound.
Right. Right, that's the point I'm making. I'm packaging it simply because when you understand and really convey what you're feeling, you'll understand the roots of where it comes from, and then you'll understand how others come from, and you won't have that aggression and I just gotta fight. You'll resolve that because again, the violence comes from a lack of clarity, a lack of expression. No matter whatever dynamic comes from, if we understand how to do that ourselves, I'm just following the notes of like how do we avoid violence, is by doing that, understanding how we can convey and articulate our expressions and gaining control over that. Because then naturally, what happens when you do so, you start seeing why people are the way they are, and you find a way to meet in the middle yourself. And so, again, violence again is just that unresolved, like you said, from past incarnations or unresolved karma.
It keeps just festering.
Let me just finish. But and the inability to express, that's important. If you feel like you can't express something, people have frustration. They just come out with anger because they don't know how to package it. We have to learn how to package our expressions too.
Well, yeah. There's a whole bunch of things we're not taught how to handle our feelings at all. I mean, this to me this is suspect because I look back, I read back in books, and I read how intelligent we were and how much we watch human beings. We've been watching human beings very carefully in a way of knowing better for at least 400 years, at least. We started. Our forefathers knew better. They knew better. There's a wisdom there. It's like, okay, you understand what a human being is and what it needs. And yet, 400 years ago, did that filter into the common conscious? No. That was all kept. We weren't taught. Rockefellers changed things around. Changed things around in the medical, and all sorts of different things. Fuck with stuff because they were rich, and now we're literally, kind of out of our environment, being hit by radar, eating shitty food. You know what I mean? And like holding in our feelings. It's like it's like a bad case of spiritual diarrhea. The world is cramping, but in this moment, I think we see this shift. So I think the reason why this war is because there's war on the inside. If you are warring with yourself, you are willing this in the world, so to speak. You're pulling into your life, and you have to make peace with yourself first. That's it. You have to make peace with yourself. That's what peace is. Peace is you and yourself having nothing wrong, no wrong thing going on.
Resolve. Peace is resolve. And so, yeah, the inner war has to be resolved before you can expect yourself to resolve with other people. So, yeah, that's what I was referring to about the expression. And yeah, what is the last tidbit there on the how can we fight fair? I mean, I don't know if I don't think fight fair is like fight the word. There's no that's a you can't do fight and fair at the same time. I understand that we have to learn how to be fair first, and then we won't fight. And what fairness really means, what I mean?
Unfortunately, a fight comes down to the stronger person always, not the better one, the righter one, the righteous one. It is the stronger one, and so don't worry, folks. You won't be sent to war. It'll be robots. At the end of the day, I mean, we're getting to this absurd level. And the truth of the matter is it is high. Really, when I go in the public and I feel people, they're mad, but they're not like they're being perceived on TV. I'm not seeing that anywhere. So I think there's a constant push for us to, be pushed over the edge. Yeah. And, to avoid war, we have to sort of look at where things, start having tension, and we don't speak up. We don't let out the tension. I mean, that's a problem. I don't think humans are very in nature. I don't know if we're violent in nature as we've been told we've been violent in nature. We've been told we're violent. We're told certain sectors of society are violent. They're violent. They're violent. No, I don't think that's a fair assessment at all because, survival comes down to that sort of moment of, dire, either kill or be killed. Like in some cases, I'm not saying it should be that in the cities. I'm saying the human spirit, if you are like on the threat of death, you will have the potential to do anything to survive. And so, so the question really isn't our nature, but to me, the question is like, well, why aren't we helping each other? We know these things, but we don't do anything.
But I notice we're more humans are more self-condemning first, And then anytime that when they self-condemn themselves, and anytime they resurrect from that, and they see other people are doing better, they want to bring those people down. So that's where I think a lot of that type of war or conflict comes from, is because people have been deprived of themselves, self-condemnation. So I think it really comes from that first. So I think violence spawns from there with different people. But I agree. I don't think we're inherently violent people. I think a lot of it comes from, again, the self-deprivating and self-condemning energy that we're all faced with. I mean, because how much do we have to talk about self-love and empowerment and all this crap all the time? That's a major issue people talk about. Many people aren't like going to learn about how to be not violent. Most people are trying to learn how to better myself and love myself better and respect myself better. So violence to me spawns from the imbalance or the deprivation of that. So,
violence, from my past lives. I mean, I was soldier, I was leader, I was in war. So much you would never think that, sensei. But this is what ends up after all those lifetimes of war. You become a sensei, and you're just like, I had it wrong. I mean, we had to. It was like, our rulers made us do it, and I remember I had past life flashes. It's like none of us fucking wanted to go to war. Nobody wanted to go to war. But we knew, like, you don't want to turn down and be a traitor to your own people, because then your life will end, and your life and your family will end. So there's like this huge, like, because of like peer pressure and nationalism, if you want to call it that, at that time. And you just walked down and did it. And so what happens? We all got murdered at someone else's command. We all have gone through like the next lifetime. Now you have an issue with, all these, you have a subconscious issue that you could be killed anytime. Maybe in that lifetime you accidentally kill somebody in defense, but then he brings up the guilt of the war. And so now this wound combines and it gets stronger next lifetime. So we don't have any of the tools to look at it in any of these lifetimes. So there's just sort of growing, fester emotional wound that, honestly, this is the first lifetime that human beings have removed a huge chunk of it. I mean, I would say 60 or 70% has been released, honestly, since 2012 of the wound, believe it or not. And I think that's why people can tolerate this moment, frankly.
Yeah. But we're navigating. That's what we're doing. We're learning how to navigate. And that's that.
We have AI. So, I don't think so. So the last question we have is, how can we as spiritual high vibe people help others who are caught in the trap of violence? You have to work that out. That's the thing. Even this question is like, you know what? You have to work it out. You don't get out of it. If you're born with violent tendencies, you have to work it out. You have to see what this part of your soul is, why you're angry, why you're this way. You have to have a curiosity for wanting to understand. And so I don't feel, if you're a light worker, it's like you've got to do you have to meet where you're equal. You have to discuss your equal opposite, find the person on your level. And that's where the conversation begins, because that's the way consciousness is designed. The people who are beginners and they're in the same world, and everyone's in a different world based on their vibration. So light workers, do not sacrifice yourself. I think that's the real question. You cannot ever sacrifice yourself. If you sacrifice yourself, God's unimpressed.
I mean, someone's caught in a trap of violence. I mean, that just sounds to me as someone who is maybe experiencing abuse. So, we have to show people there's other ways of being nurtured than just experiencing abuse. People are caught in that constant, cycle of such, giving them a voice. But yeah, we also have to understand what's abusive to us too. And so there's, when it comes to violence, some people think no violence, but I always say, if someone's coming at you trying to like manhandle you, if you're a female or male too, and someone's trying to assault you, are you going to just be like, waving your hands in love and light, or you're going to have to push back and use equal force? Sometimes we do have to use equal force for things that are also deteriorating us as well. Again, when we resolve this, that will ease up on the violence. But if you're a spiritual light worker dealing with someone who's in a cycle of violence, you have to keep showing them that, one, you're staying calm and stern in your own foundation, but two, you're teaching them that they need to find their own, as well. And so there's so many different ways like you can interpret cycle of violence. Look to the left. Your sound is gone. We can't hear you.
I was just looking for my voice. I found it. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, my voice. I was actually looking for something for this last card, but I guess it's not there. So there you go. Sorry there. Trying to coordinate live television. But it's these are interesting folks. I think it's just going to be this way. And this is what this show's for, is for this moment. Like, we want to be sportscasters on the sidelines, I guess. Well, that was a hell of a point. And kind of see that thing. See it through this ride of ascension, because humans are waking up, and even if they aren't waking up, AI is going to force us to be smarter. So interesting moments. Yeah, and actually, that's a good segue to something that I am passing by. I have a webinar coming up in probably just the weekend before Halloween. It's called New World Order. And believe it or not, even though it sounds kind of dark, it's actually not. That's the whole point. It's not dark. The truth is not dark. It's not that it's a new world order. It's the world we once knew. And I feel that we are going to be returning to an understanding of how things get along. I think we have it built in us to already know how things get along. There's some people who have charts to show you have that you already know you know how things get along. And so I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a map to this next 6 months, just what I see, and also give you tools to look at your chart. If you want to do the workshop, it's right after the webinar. We'll do like a lecture, take a break, and do a workshop. In that workshop, you'll have your own chart. We'll walk you through some of the points so you can walk away kind of understanding at least the path to take if you find yourself looking for a solution. So that's it. Newworldorder.xyz, actually. And that's because XYZ generations are the ones that are in this New World Order.
Nice. Fantastic. And I actually just want to make a quick announcement too. I'm not doing my live show tomorrow. I'll take a little break this week, but I will be back next week. So if you guys want to book a one-on-one session, October bookings have been open and they're flying like hotcakes. ScottCruzPM.com for life readings, mediumship sessions I've been doing, of course, for a long time, and also my intuition builder session as well if you want to enhance your own abilities. So ScottCruzPM.com. No need to run the commercial. But I just want to throw that out there. So those who watch my show, I'll be back next week for my live show next Thursday.
That's good. Take a break. I think it's good. I think also, we're learning how to just, create more of an organic connection to people because it's not always every day.
That's what I've been doing. Like I'm going to do it every week, but like maybe one week I just don't, so I'm burnt out on topics or I'm burnt out. I'm just emphasizing on something else. So yeah. So I'm still every week, once in blue moon, I might just take off. Like this week, I'm going to take off.
I'll get there. I'm in a build period, but we'll talk about that. So, well, friends, have a good week, and hang in there. It's going to be a bit of a bumpy road. And don't forget, rather than sit around and take it, lead out loud. See you next week.
All right, guys.
No.
I should make an AI video of you dancing to this song. Maybe we could do that for our opening. Your sound is off. Your mic's off again, yeah.
I think the exact same thing.
So you and I have AI do open for us.
Different scenes. There's this one. I'll go card.
Can hear you.
Seven of Cups. Your car's ready.
Coming up next week on Serious Joy TV. Join Sensei Christopher and co-host psychic medium Scott Cruz live on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Then tune into Astro Mingle as we chat with our returning friend, Michelle R. Jones. Her mission is to explore full body ascension in this new era with an emphasis on gut health, food, and energetic alignment. The best in enlightened entertainment, only on Serious Joy TV.